Yo, what's up guys? It's Lucky here, and today I've got a real special video for you. If you're new to the page, this is the perfect video to start on. I'm building a cabin out in the woods with Will Survives. But before we started the cabin, we used to live right here in this school bus. In this video, I'm going to take you guys way back to a time before the school bus. This is a clip from the first time we arrived at the cabin spot. We were in the school bus and we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. Little did we know, we were about to embark on one of the greatest journeys we've ever been on. We knew this mountain was special since the moment we arrived, and the first thing we wanted to do was adopt some horses. We didn't even have a truck yet, but that didn't stop us. We got all the fencing done using only the car. And it just so happened that we got the truck, the trailer, and the horses all in the same week. It was like it was meant to be, guys. These are completely wild horses that we rescued from the Bureau of Land Management. We named the black mare Storm, and we named the stud colt Blizzard. Probably the most fitting names for this mountain property up here. Storm was about 10 years old. She was a little hard-headed and tough to train, but Blizzard was a young colt, just under 2 years old, super energetic and so smart, guys. Training them taught me so much about horses, and even a little bit about myself. This might have been my favorite day up at the cabin spot. Seeing these horses in their natural element after they had been contained for almost a year brought me so much joy. Now I know they don't look like wild horses. That's because I had been training them for over 6 months before we brought them up to the property. When we first got the horses, we were in the process of flipping a little ranch house in a town called Anton Chico. We didn't have the fencing up at the property yet, but this little ranch was fully fenced in and was a perfect place to train these horses. It was even right next to the baseball field, so I had plenty of space to run these horses outside the yard. Buying this property was one of the best investments we ever made, and it helped us live our dream of owning wild horses, a dream that had started way back when we were first in college. Let's go 10 years back to 2014, when we had just gotten out of high school. My wife and I were looking for a place to stay, and I had made friends with this older man that owned a couple acres in Las Vegas. He had a small red cabin on his property, the one you had actually just seen in that picture. We came to an agreement that if I helped him maintain his property, he would give us really cheap rent. I think we were paying close to $200 a month to rent this tiny little cabin that didn't even have a bathroom. It was a piece of crap, but we didn't care. It was our first place together, and the old man let us have whatever animals we wanted. Engineering school did not work out for me here in Las Vegas, so it's time to move back to Texas so I can finish my degree. We bought this old RV and we hit the road, 18 hours to Nacogdoches, Texas, where I planned on attending Stephen F. Austin University. Shout out to my grandparents for going on that crazy road trip with us. This is the train house. It was the first home that we bought together, and it was right on the train tracks. Did you guys hear me yelling there? I had to scold my dog Grizzly because he had never seen a train before and he was ready to attack. I don't know how they got away with putting this house so close to the train. Everybody said it was going to drive us crazy, but this train was probably the coolest thing that we enjoyed the most about this home. Except when the train would roll through at midnight and shake the whole house. It was pretty crazy, to be honest. My wife and I had saved every single penny while we were living in that red cabin in Las Vegas. We had enough saved up to buy this house straight up cash. I think we paid $18,000 for it. We had a pretty nice garden, and it was all thanks to my wife. She's the one with the green thumb. We had so much fun flipping this house. We completely redid the kitchen and even rebuilt the countertops out of repurposed lumber. We saved the old cabinets, put in new appliances, and we even put up this fancy cloud chandelier. Then we started collecting animals again. My wife was breeding designer bunnies, and I found this turtle while I was fishing, and I brought him home. He loved his new pond. Then we adopted Chewy. And then we adopted Zeus. And then we adopted Snow. People called us crazy for having so many dogs, but each one needed a home, and we had a home to give them. I was obsessed with fishing at this time, so I bought a truck, then I bought a boat, and then I pretty much fished every single day. Then I bought a bigger truck and a bigger boat, because why not? Here's the last picture I took of Grizzly. Rest in peace, boy. One day my wife and I were pretty bored, so we bought a spray gun and decided to paint the house blue. A couple weeks later, somebody made an offer on the house and we sold it. This is my last fishing trip before we sold the house and left Nacogdoches. Our next stop was College Station. I actually never attended Stephen F. Austin, so figured I'd try my luck at Texas A&M. We bought a couple acres of property on a lake for $7,000 cash. It was heavily wooded and completely off-grid. This was the first day that we arrived at the property, and you already know we brought all our animals with us. We bought the RV from my wife's grandparents and lived in that thing off-grid for like a year, and the tent was given to us by my father-in-law. I wasn't kidding when I said we lived on a lake, guys. This was an everyday occurrence for us. These dogs were always at the lake, and I was always on the boat. I think we spent more time on this water than we did at the property. We don't know where this dog came from. Chewy brought her home, and the two were inseparable, so we took her in and named her Polly. The tent was supposed to be our garage, but it quickly became the animal mansion. We powered everything off of this generator and a Harbor Freight solar panel. It was enough power to keep us happy, but we had to make some sacrifices. We didn't have things like television, running water, air conditioning, Wi-Fi, or any of the other things that you guys need nowadays to be happy. It was just us, the animals, and the land. And we were probably the happiest we had ever been. This is where we wanted to build our house. But before we did that, we had to build a house for the chickens. I know he looks innocent, but this is the most notorious chicken killer there ever was. He once killed over 50 of our chickens in a single day. We didn't give up though, and we kept hatching those eggs. And before we knew it, we had an entire flock and a really nice chicken coop to keep everybody happy. A quarter mile down the road was the annual Chili Festival. This is the biggest event in Central Texas, and it was right next door. We got to sit in our front yard and listen to Lynyrd Skynyrd live. It was one of the most amazing experiences out here at this property. Like I said before, I was obsessed with fishing, so I bought a boat right away and dug my own pond. We had more predators out here than we do up at the cabin spot right now. We had to deal with rattlesnakes, water moccasins, scorpions, wild hogs, and the dreaded mosquitoes. After a year of living in that RV with no AC, it was finally time to start building the house, and my grandpa came down to help. He was the brains behind the operation, and I was the muscle. There was no way I could have done this job without him. Everything I know and all the skills that I've learned throughout my life, I owe to this man right here. He's taught me everything, and he brought me up to be the man I am today. My wife deserves all the credit in the world too. She's my ride or die, guys. How many ladies do you know that are willing to drop everything and follow you around to pursue all the crazy dreams that you guys have in your life? That's how you know we're soulmates. My dreams are her dreams, and her dreams are mine. And we're able to pursue our dreams together. It didn't take long before we had a full-blown 2-story house in our yard. This is the point in the build where wifey got real excited and started doing all the interior work. She painted and stained, while I did electrical work and insulation. Oh yeah, this is about the time that we got Beluga. Even as a puppy, he was massive, just like the second story on this house. Here's a quick video of the property before we started building the house. We absolutely loved it here. I hope you guys enjoy it. We had an entire field of wild raspberries. We decided to put the fence here so that they can grow on the fence and build a raspberry hedge. I had to cut all this grass with a weed eater because I couldn't afford a lawnmower yet. And wifey's out there raking it all up for the chickens and the rabbits. The RV was nice in the evenings, but was an absolute oven during the daytime. It was consistently over 100 degrees here with 100% humidity, and going inside that RV during the daytime was a death wish. Even on a cloudy day like this, you can tell it's hot outside because the dogs will not leave the shade. The heat and humidity was probably the main reason why we moved back to New Mexico. It was just too damn hot, guys, and we missed our snow. A typical day out here started out at the lake. I'd do some fishing till it got too hot, then I'd bring as much water as I could back to the property. We'd give all the water to our animals, get everyone fed, then try our best to dodge the sun all day. We couldn't go in the RV all day because it was way too hot with no AC, so most of our time was spent out in the bush on our hammocks, just chilling with the animals. I'm surprised we got so much footage back then because we never had our cell phones. And social media was the last thing I thought I'd be doing. Shout out to our friend Amber over in Nacogdoches. Before we moved over here, she made that beautiful red nesting box that you see back there. If I knew this dog was looking at her chicks like they were chicken nuggets, I would have stopped him and trained him right then and there. Zeus was a big chicken killer too, but he was so damn cute. Now that the chickens were out of the tent, we started to reclaim some of our space back. We actually ended up turning this tent into a workout station. We had weights, a bench, medicine balls, even a punching bag in here. Oh yeah, my wife was breeding designer bunnies too. She was obsessed with lion heads, and she produced some of the most beautiful genetics in rabbits that I've ever seen before. We had 2 cockatiels, R2-D2 and C-3PO. One was blue and the other one was yellow. I don't know why, but it seems like we've always had a bird of some sort. Go figure. And this is where we kept all the baby bunnies. I'm sorry you can't see well. If I had known I was going to post this 10 years later, I would have taken a better video. This is how we'd get the water from the lake. We'd take 3 or 4 of these bad boys and fill them right up, throw them in the back of the truck, and head on home. The trees are so thick out here that you couldn't even walk through them. We'd spend our days carving trails through the woods till we had these cool little hangout spots. This is where we spent most of our time because it was so damn hot during the day. Right outside our hangout spot was this cute little garden that we put together. Wifey planted some berries, and I started a cactus garden with some cacti that I found around the property. I don't think I have a video of the cactus garden in full bloom, but you see this agave plant right here? It's also known as a century plant because it blooms once every 100 years. Believe it or not, 1 year after this video, that agave plant was 8 feet tall and in full bloom, guys. I still can't explain it. We also planted a full-blown orchard right around this water trough. I think we had 12 different fruit trees, and the idea was to put a water catchment system to collect water into the water trough. That way we can easily water the trees every single day. I don't have a video, but the water catchment system worked great, and the water trough was always full of water. I used to keep bluegill in there, and I think I even tried to breed crawfish at one point. We had figs, apples, lemons, limes, persimmons, and I can't remember what else we had, but there was good stuff, trust me. When we moved from here to the cabin spot, we tried to take all these trees with us in the school bus. We had no idea how cold it got in New Mexico, and all our trees froze, unfortunately. But this was our home, guys. We absolutely loved it here, and if I had the opportunity to buy this property back, I would do it in a heartbeat. We paid $7,000 for the land. I spent about $20,000 building the house, and we sold the property for $70,000. Having to haul water every day wasn't easy, but we sure had fun doing it. Beluga loves water, but he hates the heat. So it's time to take this boy up to the mountains. We loaded up the bus with everything we owned, including all the animals. And it was time to drive 18 hours back all the way to New Mexico, where we finally ended up at the cabin spot. So technically, this video was day one up at the cabin spot. We put up this fencing because we weren't sure what the dogs were going to do. Sometime before we left College Station, we picked up these two little Yorkies. The brown one's name is Rico, and the little pom-pom right there's name is Ziggy. These littles are not allowed outside. They're way too small. And that's pretty much it for the prequel, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of stuff has happened up at this mountain since we moved out here, but that's for another video. If you guys want to know what life was like in the school bus before it got burnt, let me know in the comments, and I'll do my very best to make another video just like this for you. I really appreciate your guys' support, so thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.